Welcome back, everyone. Bitcoin is at $105,000. This is a historical record high, obviously, and it is 20th of June. It's a Friday here in Australia, and we are going to look at the current trend and where does all of this is going to end up. So let's just have a look at the news at the moment. As you know, that there's a war going on. Most people will say it's a conflict, but it's not. It's a war. And then, of course, there's also all sorts of problems happening all around the globe. Despite all of these, Bitcoin is holding really well. We did have a recent crash. I did make some videos, obviously in different language. Um, and as you can see, we went to about $77,000. And now we are at $105,000. So that itself is how much is that? It's about 33% of an increase, which is remarkable for something like this. To be honest, even the financial markets held up very well, but compared to the American Stock Exchange, I feel like Bitcoin is doing really well. Another asset that's doing really well is gold. I'll do a whole separate video on gold, but just for today, $104,000 right now as we speak. It went to an all-time high of 108,000, which is crazy. And just to think, this bull market started in 2023, mid 2023, at around $20,000. I remember at the end of the last bear market, it went down to around $16,000, and then it started getting back up. If you go back to December 2022, that's what a massive 500% gain within how many years? We are in 2025 now. Let's just do 2022 December, almost 3 years. That's 5x, that's 5x gains for the gain bros out there, just 5x, which is amazing. Not so many assets do this, but it did go through some turbulence, as you can see. Over here, this year actually, it was very rocky for Bitcoin. As you can see, this crash. I initially thought that this would come a little bit below this to this line over here, but it did well. This is the 50-day moving average. This green line, and this is the 200 moving average. But it did touch the 50-day moving average line, and it bounced back up to 108,000. This is really good. And I told people, if you're buying over here, obviously, you'd make some money, and 100K would have been a good exit point. So that was the history. Now, what is the future? Again, this is not financial advice. It is educational purposes only. Please do your due diligence before you put your hard-earned money in the markets and buying other people's courses. Always, I personally have a financial advisor. I have an accountant, so I always talk to these people before I put my money in places. And I do not have any Bitcoin at the moment. Would I get in? Just contemplating a little bit. But if you are one of those people who's looking to invest in Bitcoin, you gotta ask yourself, what does the future hold for Bitcoin? Obviously, I feel like Bitcoin is playing and will be playing a good role in the future for trade, especially with the new Silk Road corridor opening up in Eurasia. I feel like Bitcoin will be playing a major role, and more people will be moving into using Bitcoin compared to the dollar. But again, it's all probabilities, right? We do not know what's going to happen in the future. So I'm just going to talk to you guys about some probabilities that will happen in the next phase of the market. Let's say, so we are in 2025, so let's do 5 years. So what will happen in 5 years? What does the long-term trends show us? So, for example, I believe that we will come down a little bit in the interim, and excuse me, yep. So I think this will come down a little bit. Ignore this little bit over here. Let me erase that one. Yeah. Okay. And then we'll see like it goes back up to around 150 and then just stay in here till about, I think it will do something like this. I don't think it will just go or start going up. That I don't think will happen. It'll just be something like this. Let me get rid of it. Let me draw it all again. I think, yeah, so it will get back up here and then do something like this and then started coming back down. This will be a bear market and then this something like that. Let's see. This is obviously a long-term trend. Can this happen? Sure. The data does suggest that it's happening because if current geopolitical issues are actually affecting Bitcoin, if we wouldn't be seeing it's holding really well. So if I'm to just zoom in over here, you can see that it might not go down this far, or it might actually start from here and go up. But this is a good scenario. Overall, I feel like this could happen. But again, it's all probability, right? We don't know what's going to happen. I also feel like if most countries go into recessions, people, not the day traders like you and myself, and not the small guys, the bigger guys, the whales, if they get frustrated and they need money, they will liquidate most of the Bitcoin. That I feel like in Bitcoin, one of the things that I have seen is whales control the market. Yes, Bitcoin, we don't even know who owns Bitcoin, but people with more money, more Bitcoin control the way the market goes. So if a whale feels like, you know what, I need the money, it's bad out there, I'm going to cash in, that might lead to a panic selling. Again, it's a big if. So that's why I'm telling you guys, just as much as there's a probability of this doing something like this, it also has a probability of just doing this, you know. Similar to the last cycle, I feel like this is very possible. Most people would say, you know what, it can't happen, but it can happen. So if I zoom in, let me just zoom in. Yep. As you can see, this is my resistance line. If you do Elliott waves or whatever, I mean, if you do Elliott waves, you do 1, 2, and 3, and then you should see 4, and then 5. So this is the third leg, but in here, I just do a simple resistance line over here. So 1, 2, and 3, then we are over here. So this could very much happen. Let me zoom right in. I feel like if this is coming down, this particular area, which is the $78,000 mark, is a really good resistance area. This was tested before and it did not break. But again, if you go back to this scenario, this was the previous bull market. It only lasted about what, 2.5 years, and then we had this big bear market for about 2 years. So if we're gonna do the 2 year trends, okay, so the current bull market started somewhere in 2024. We are still in 2025, and then I feel like we still have 2026 to go. So that's the entire kind of bull market. And then, like I said, it will be something like this, stay for 2 years, and then 28, it will go back up again. Both of these scenarios, in my personal opinion, now this is my personal opinion, I feel like it's very probable. But hey, this is why you need to do, if you're trading, you got a lot to think, right? But if you just buy and hold, I feel like in the long term, having Bitcoin, think 10, 15, 20 years, not just this week or next month or next year. I feel like having Bitcoin would definitely benefit most of us, because we're going for this multipolar world where so many currencies, not just the US dollars, not just the European currencies, everything else will be in existence to help us evolve in this world. So these are my thoughts. I feel like this is where Bitcoin would definitely end up. Where do I bet? My bet is the red one. I feel like Bitcoin will come down and do the previous thing, but again, there's also evidence of this happening. Well, thanks so much, guys, for listening in. I really appreciate it. If you enjoy this, if you learn something from it, obviously this is me just ranting. Yeah, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in another video. Ciao.